Good evening. Hope everyone's doing okay today. We'll just give it a few more minutes and then we're going to get started. This is an updates from what's coming from SouthWest RailCams. Um, for some reason, the YouTube announcement alert did not go out, from my understanding. So um, we're just, this will be recorded, so it'll be posted in the video files for anyone that's missed it. I agree with you, Jeff, on that one. Can can you hear can everyone hear me okay? Hello, hello. Thank you for letting me know there, we're a Royal fan. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, um, we for some reason the YouTube announcement didn't go out. I'm not too sure why to our subscribers. We actually sent the announcement out yesterday, but I'm not too sure if everyone got it. So um, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Just go over some updates and then we'll do some FAQs. And this is being recorded. It'll be on the DVRs of the YouTube, so we should be um, good to go here. So first off, on the updates here, I know everyone has been asking about what's going on with Needles, California, and they have all the equipment, and they had a since it's a historic landmark, they had to go ahead and get some additional mounting hardware that will work with that building that they're using. Now with that building, um, as it's very old Harvey House building. Um, so it's definitely built will withstand a lot. Double reinforced concrete, and the walls. When we were there, they're about almost the walls are almost about at least 18 inches thick to get to the outside. There are some sections that were, you know, maybe 6 inches, but to the most part, where the cameras need to be, we need that's a pretty thick wall they have to get through, and then to mount the cameras, um, they require some special mounting brace, so they could be, not fall off because how thick the walls are. So they've been working. The city of Needles has been working on that. Unfortunately, the weather has been not that well, good for the installation. Every time they start working on it, little bits and bits, They seem to run into that weather that keeps hitting California. And I believe, and I know we all are aware of it. We're all getting, I think almost everyone's getting hit by it. So that's that. As of this morning, though, we did happen to have some news where they do have the computers. There's two computers that run the cameras, one for east, one for west. Those are shown to be online as of today. So we are definitely getting progress made. Hi, Beverly. We're definitely getting progress made on needles. They are definitely as I mentioned, computers are online. We can see the computers. The next step is most likely is them wiring up the cameras, and we have to alignment test it. They have very good, very good network internet there. They're running off of a fiber by Route 66 broadband. So once that comes up, testing shouldn't take too long. Um, we'll make sure we get aligned up just right. The plan is to align the cameras right between they. If you've been to Needles, California, the depot there, um, they have palm trees and all that. So they're going to make sure they align them between the palm trees. The east camera is going to be going through facing BNSF crew change point. And then the west camera is planning on facing the west signal bridge of CP or control point needles. Um, so overall, it's really got some good views. They're going to be on the second floor. They're going to try getting as high as they can. My understanding is they're planning on bringing a bucket truck in when they mount the cameras. I'm not too sure if they're actually going to mount them against a wall or if they're going to do what they've done with their security cameras, which is put them on a mast that comes from the El Garces Hotel and go out towards the tracks and be pretty much right above the platform. So we'll see what they do, where the plan is. But either way, they're going to contact us and make sure that we are help them align them for the best possible viewing, as they are going to be two static cameras. Not no PTZ on this one due to the fact that the railroad has requested us not to use a PTZ camera um, for privacy of their employees, and we will grant that. That's why there's a staying with two statics. So that's where Needles is coming up at. I expect Needles to. I expect Needles probably to hit not that much longer. I would imagine probably. I said I see the computers now, so I would imagine after. I would say probably by the end of the week, hopefully, if it all goes well, we should hopefully get to see Needles come online. Anyone have any questions about Needles? And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. I don't see any questions in the chat. Um, so the next one we got going on here, as you may or may have not known, we do have a couple fundraisers going. One is for Roseville, California, which is just north of the Roseville Depot. Um, it's the UP main line. Um, just a static camera installation, high definition static camera installation, facing north towards the Y of the two UP lines that come in before entering the before entering Roseville's yard, the UP Roseville yard. Um, so that's one of the ones that we got. Hello, Marv. Hello, Ed. So we got that fundraiser going. We also got another fundraiser going for um, a small business that we have between Winslow, Arizona, and Holbrook, Arizona. It's called a Jackrabbit Trading Post. They're currently one of our sites that actually um, they're currently a site for what's called ATCS. If anyone that uses it, they actually still have that, and we're going to upgrade. We're working on going to have they got the internet capacity to do a camera, and out there the BNSF trains, it's the Gallup sub, and those trains go by there at track speed. Sometimes when we've been out there, they go by at 70 miles per hour, just like Wilcox does on the UP line. Hi, Mark. Hi, Zach. So those are the two fundraisers we got going on with those. Um, Next part to talk about is our name change. We've had questions about it, and we're at where we're at. We've been emailed about a couple of them. Okay, so why did we change? Well, Railpan Arizona was fine when we were just within Arizona, but as you know, we're in Gallup, New Mexico, and Needles said will be coming up hopefully next week. It just sounded better to change everything to SouthWest RailCams as we're expanding our reach. Um, so that it's the railfanarizona.com site. That one will be going away in September. Everything has been converted to the new domain, the new site. So you'll be able to find our website, our dashboard, as you can see on the screen here, um, at the Southwest RailCams.com site. Going forward, railfanaz.com will be going away again in September. Um, Speaking of the dashboard, as you can see, um, I know we've mentioned it here and there. We've mentioned the newsletter. The dashboard has been changed a little bit. It's been changed to using a different type of language, so it should run better, run a little bit faster for anyone that uses it. As you can see, it just has the main cameras that are live on our channel currently on the BNSF and the Union Pacific. Um, so if you need the link, we would definitely post a link in the description and also on the YouTube channel, in our channel post community page. On the next page, next thing what I wanted to discuss a little bit, in regards to um, patrol. The or as some people may, as some members viewers would call it, OTO. I think that comes from other channels. OTO or automatic mode, however you want to call it. As you can see, like um, TACNA, which is the bottom one on the bottom middle there, does it automatically. All all PTZs have the capability of doing the patrol mode. However, there's only really we've had requests back and forth and emails in regards to which cameras they like, which our viewers like patrol mode, which viewers they don't like patrol mode. So technically, um, the only one that's always in patrol mode, except for at night, is TACNA. That's due to the fact that they just have one camera there. And that's how the Jackrabbit Trading Post would be as well. It'll be a patrol mode. So you'll get the view of east and west, just like you do on the UP main line. Um, but like Benson, Wilcox is usually in patrol mode all the time, as it's been requested because of the darkness in the west of the camera. There's no lights there. There's some lights in the parking lot. Found out from the city, those lights are owned by Union Pacific, and it's up to them if they want to fix them. So we've tried. Unfortunately, that their UP's lights are not the city of Wilcox's lights. So that's why that one patrols pretty much 24/7, unless a moderator is controlling it. Benson sometimes is in patrol, sometimes it's not. It just depends if it's requested by our viewers. But to the most part, it's always facing west unless a moderator, um, as a moderator is controlling it. Same with Kingman and Winslow. Um, moving up from that. Any questions about the patrol mode or auto mode? If you do, you can ask them in the chat. Okay, I don't see any questions. And I see we have the sunset over there at Kingman. Um, so go ahead and continue on. So now um, we'll go ahead and talk about our next one of the other things that's come up a few times. Um, Winslow, Arizona. Um, as many know, it's at the La Posada Hotel, La Posada Museum. It used to be called the Winslow Arts Trust. Now it's La Posada Museum. So at the um, Winslow La Posada Hotel, as many know, our PTZ camera does get into the. Right now it looks fine, but during the summer, um, those the trees start to grow bloom, and then the PTZ kind of gets pretty much um, blocked by the trees. So what's been happening? We've been working in the background on trying to fix that. Actually, Christy has. She's been doing a great job working with Amtrak and Amtrak's management, and we're getting closer to the steps where we're going to be able to allow to move the PTZ camera to the to a one of their poles that's out there on the platform. Um, I think she just needs one more approval from someone in the brand's management to make sure they're okay with it. And then if they give us approval, we'll work on getting the PTZ camera moved to the to one of the poles. So then it's away from the trees. Um, oh, and it's out there by the track, not on the building where we first initially put it. Um, we were limited on where we were able to put the cameras at that site, so that's the reason why they are there today. But we're definitely, as I said, Christy's definitely been working on it. She's been talking with Amtrak management, and I think we're getting very close on hopefully moving that camera. Questions about Winslow? If you have any questions, go ahead and post it in the live chat. Hello, AZ Photo Man. Hello, Mark and AZ. Mark, you had a question about how does one volunteer to be a mod? Well, to be a mod, it could go either way. Um, Usually, what happens is uh, Christy or myself or one of the moderators on the team will, we watch the chats, and if they recommend someone that's on the chat, and it gets recommended to myself and Christy, and then we go through and we pull the chat logs for the back end, back system, and from there we see how you how you chat, um, and all that. This is see how you see if you'd be a good fit for a moderator. Hopefully that answers your question, Mark. Okay, and let's see. Got that. Also, we're going to start having these calls. Probably, I'm probably going to do these live streams probably maybe once or twice a month, as just an updates and FAQs, so everyone has the opportunity to chat in and to get ask questions to the team and let you know, and so you know where we're at and what kind of updates we have. Um, if I don't really have anything else. Now let's go ahead and do while we're watching the dashboard here with the trains at Kingman, Gallup, and Tacna. We'll go ahead and open it up to anyone who has an FAQ. Any kind of questions, go ahead and ask them now, please, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, we're just in our minute here. Um, make sure if there's any, make sure there's no questions that are just um, take a minute to come to the chat. Goose, yes. The needles is a lot. Yes, that was answered. I answered that. I mentioned that a little bit in the beginning of the broadcast to start. Um, Long story short, they were having a, as you know, being as a historic building, historic landmark. The city of Needles owns the, I think it's called El Garces Hotel, um, or El Garces. I can't remember how it's pronounced. Anyways, it's a historic landmark, and from the city of Needles perspective, they got to make sure they take care and they don't want to disrupt anything with the building. um, the building itself, well, the walls are made out of, as mentioned, our built out of 18-inch double enforced or reinforced concrete. So with that being said, normal regular tools that we would have, as a consumer, not going to break through it. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. It just doesn't work, unfortunately. So the City of Needles has the tools for it, but they had to order some special mounting hardware for for the cameras. So what they're doing at that point is they got the hardware. They started working on it, and then that's when we started having this crazy weather coming in. And so of course, what happens is from there they start working on it, and they had to put this aside because of the fact that, well, weather damage and all that. They have to take care of that. They have to take care of their city first. They're not that big. They only have a few employees that handle the city, for utilities, or maintenance and all that. So it's understandable. Um, so hopefully, um, they start getting back to it. Um, One thing is we did notice this morning though that the computers that the cameras run off of. There's two of them there at the site. Both computers are online as of this morning, so they must have started on it this morning, getting the computers connected to their internet. Um, that shows that we're making progress. The last thing when I talked to the city on, I want to say it was on Thursday or Wednesday, they had an issue come up at the senior center, and they had to go and take care of something that was there. Um, but from my understanding is once that was resolved, they're going to be coming back to the cameras there to get them online. Um, so the city definitely apologizes for the long delay, and so do we. Um, we handed over since it's their building, and they want to do the installation because of the historic landmark registry. They have We respect them to do the installation, and we've handed them all the equipment. They have everything they need, plus a little extra just to get everything by. Um, and then whatever they don't use, we'll be picking up when we go out to our golf site. That has a radio feed that we got to work on, that we're going to install. So I'm hoping, and I believe the city, when I talk to them, they're hoping to have, as long as the weather is good, which we're just crossing our fingers now that they'll get it up by the end of the next week, and then we'll test it and make sure before we go. Um, we'll go. We go live with it. As I mentioned as before with Benson, we'll test it for a few days. Then after that, we will go ahead and make it live for everyone that's donated to that camera for the first week, and then we'll go public afterwards. So hopefully more to come. As I mentioned, when I get more information from them, we will um, definitely will reach out and post in our community post. as we get more updates from them. Okay, does that answer your question, Goose? Hi, Amtrak 383 Zephyr. Yeah, just as Mara posted there, that's our support email address now. Send us an email, and we always look into the spots that we get, any kind of request, as long as it's within region and all that. So Chuck, hi Chuck. Any plans for Albuquerque? I totally forgot about that one. I'm glad you reminded me. Okay, so um, for Albuquerque, I'm thinking that's what you mean, right? ABQ Albuquerque. Looks familiar. Looks like an Amtrak abbreviation. So for Albuquerque, if that's what you're talking about, Chuck, right? Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw that station. I think that's a station code that Amtrak uses. So, okay. So for Albuquerque, we have Christy has been working with Albuquerque for a little bit. We started off with our host in um first our host in Gallup. She actually got us in contact. She started a conversation with the station manager in Albuquerque. Um, and then it came to a situation where, as we may or may not remember, there's a whole situation between Amtrak and the town of Gallup about the culture center, and now they can't use the waiting area. They have their pretty much Amtrak passengers are now stuck outside, and so the guy never really the manager never got back to us. Got back to her about that. So Christy took it upon herself and contacted the city of Albuquerque and talked to um, the IT manager there. He then got us in touch with the. He said that for the city of Albuquerque, the building's too far away from the tracks for it to be any good for a rail cam. Understandable. So, but he did give us a lead. So Christy ran with that lead and talked to a manager in the rail with the rail runner, and the manager there, from my understanding, has wanted an email so he could talk over with his IT, and they're hoping if the IT manager approves it, that we will we'll go out there get a spot set up. So it looks like Albuquerque is getting closer to being approved. As I mentioned, Christy talked to a manager and he was excited about it. Um, he knew about the Santa Fe cam that was working for a little bit before the storm damage, and he's definitely on board with it. He just wants to talk to IT and make sure his IT department is okay with us running a rail cam in Albuquerque. Um, so we're getting closer on Albuquerque, Chuck. It's been a long process, but we're getting closer. Does that help? Does that answer your question, Chuck? All right. And Goose, you asked about the transitions black and white. We'll continue. Okay, that is a new feature with software in the cameras. The reason for that is the transit. We are technically part of a beta pilot. and the cameras transition only during certain only for that phase where it's too dark for the sensor to encode or decode properly. Um, with the newer firm, there's a newer type of firmware where now it allows what's called a constant frame rate. If we're on frame rates on video. In the past, what happened was with the older firmware on the cameras, it would once it got too dark, they would change the frame rate to half of what they're supposed to be doing. Like, so it would drop the camera's frame rates to half. So this transition process is technically in the CMOS, I guess they call it the CMOS sensor, ready for the night mode, which is the color mode. Now, they will have a new firmware coming out later, I think in 2 months or in a month or 2 months from now, which will make that transition quicker. Um, that's what was causing a lot of issues. We found out after sending them the diagnostic logs from Wilcox when it was crashing all the time at night. It had something to do with the CMOS sensor getting buggy. So this was the fix for that. Um, yeah, and it does, and you may notice all the cameras do have it, except for Tucson. Tucson, those cameras are the only ones that are on the older firmware because of its distance and how far they are. So that hopefully that answers your question, Goose. And yes, the radio feeds are on all cameras. Each one, depending on this location, um, some there's more talk, more chatter, radio chatter than others. Um, and it could just be the fact that like if you're looking at Gallup and Winslow, they're right next to the yard, so you're gonna hear a lot of chatter on those two. Kingman, off and on, they don't. There's not much chatter unless something's going on. Most detectors on BNSF are silent unless a defect is detected. Um, Now there was at one time you were hearing a detector all the way from Crozier Canyon. That was from a different source. That's not on there anymore. So that's where the audio feeds come from. They also keep in mind that audio feeds and Needles will have an audio feed as well. So St. Roseville, um, Albuquerque will have one. But if you look at you will hear detectors on the UP, usually the entrance detectors or entrance when a train enters the plant. But other than that, radio feeds, it depends on what's going on in each area. Okay, any other questions before we end this call today? Or not this call. Well, been on so many phone calls with locations thinking they're calls and they're not anymore. Any other questions or anything like that anyone wants to ask? Give it just another minute. If not, we'll go ahead and end this broadcast, and we'll have another one. We may it depends on what's going on. If I hear more information from Needles, I may maybe do one next Saturday. Keep an eye out. I'll try sending up an update sooner, if needed. Um, it depends on. I may do it through the newsletter email. So if you're signed up for our newsletter, I will send you a notice through there. Just sometimes YouTube I think doesn't send out. I don't know if it's uses a notification. It depends on notification settings. So we'll just send out the next one we'll go ahead. We'll use the newsletter. So make sure you sign up for our newsletter. Um, and maybe one of the mods could post a newsletter sublink. For Albuquerque, it's actually right at the New Mexico Rail Runner location where the platforms are at. So you have the New Mexico Rail Runner platform, and then and then you have number Amtrak 3 and 4. Um, that's where that's going to be located at. It's going to be right there at the platform, from my understanding. Um, I would have to ask Christy, see what other information she got from the manager at the location. But I believe it was supposed to be right at the platform. And just to give an update very quickly, Santa Fe. They talk to the host out there. He's planning on rewiring the camera, running a whole new wire this coming week. He was sick for about 2 weeks. He was out of the office, and he's the only IT guy the host has. So um, that's why it's taking a little longer. But he's hoping to have it up as soon as possible. He's going to work on running a new line this week. I don't want to throw that out there, but I forgot. Any other questions before we end this broadcast today? Hello, William. Glad to hear that, Goose. We're all one big team, and we're happy with our subscribers. We're glad that everyone is. We're glad to have all our viewers, all our subscribers, and we want to do everything we can for everyone to can enjoy these cams. Um, and we'll just let us send us an email, let us know if there's anything that comes up, and we we're we're all rail fans here. We all want to have have fun. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll probably have another session here tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but maybe next Saturday. We'll have the dashboard pulled up. Watch some, we could talk about updates. Watch some trains going by. Maybe we'll have Amtrak, in Gallup at the time if it's running on time. And there's a CP there, CP and Gallup and Ferromax and Kingman. And who knows what UP is going to throw at us. So yeah. So thanks everyone for joining, and you have we'll make sure this this little video is published, and you can rewatch it. We'll have the links in the description. Thanks everyone. Have a great evening. Happy train watching. Bye bye.